it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel and my bathroom. Today I just want to show you like a pretty average morning routine for me, something I've been sticking to for the last couple of months as it's been getting colder and my skin's been getting a little bit more dry. And then I just want to show you some everyday makeup that I have been gravitating towards lately. I do get a lot of questions about makeup and I haven't really shared about that in a while, so I figured now would be a great time to show you some everyday makeup and a really straightforward, simple morning skincare routine for me. So if you're so ready, give the video a big thumbs up and let's jump in. All right, so first up, I'm gonna wash my face, and normally I would just wash with water, but since I've been using like heavier creams and oils for the cold weather in my nighttime routine, I definitely feel like in the morning I have a little bit more like thickness, to work through some more grease on my face. So I do wanna use a cleanser this morning. This is the Roche Posay Gentle Foaming Cleansing Oil, and I've really been enjoying this. There's actually no oil in here, but it just has like a oil-like moisturizing feel. And that makes it really skin respective. I mean, any time of day, but it makes it a nice choice for the morning routine. Just enough to break through the grease layer, but not so foamy and potentially drying and stripping for the skin. So I'm going straight in for my hydrating toner. This is the giant bottle of the Jung Relief Toner from Etude House. This is a very simple, very thin, watery type of toner, and it's perfect for that first layer for me. I do have dehydrated skin that gets a lot more dehydrated in the winter. Transepidermal water loss, that's losing the hydration through your skin. That's what causes dehydration. Super duper common in the winter time. And, as the air inside of my house is a lot drier with the heat going, it really increases that. So having a really good hydrating toner for every skincare routine is super duper important. And I'm going to do just a few layers of this toner to really build in that real watery, deep, like I call it replenishing hydration. Because if your skin's dehydrated, you know that you need that hydration to really dive deep into the skin, because it's like it needs that relief in the deeper layers of your skin. And that's exactly what these types of toners really achieve. So this feels so good, especially right after washing my face. My skin can feel so vulnerable at that time. So just getting right in there with toner is super important. So this is the Dr. Ceuracle Vegan Kombucha Tea Essence, which I've been obsessed with for a few years now. And this has really been a staple for me over the last couple of months. As you can see, I've been slamming through this bottle really quickly, and I just bought a backup last month during all the sales. So I'm good to go. But what I've been doing with this is you have to shake it up. You can't see it. There's actually two layers in here. There's a hydrating tea portion, and then this creamy portion, which you can see, and you mix it together and it becomes this, it's watery and fluid, let me show you, but it's also creamy and silky at the same time. It's different than the Etude toner. So you see that it's watery. It's like milk. It's like cream. Cool, right? That was a cool shot. But it feels very silky and nourishing and moisturizing. And this is exactly what I need right after that really watery, replenishing toner. My skin needs that balance with moisture. So I do have combination skin. I usually treat it pretty dry in the winter because my U-zone goes extremely dry. But interestingly, I have been struggling a little bit with my T-zone. It is still feeling a little bit on the oily side, so a lot of the super nourishing layers are actually making this area feel a little congested. So I'm trying to be careful with my layers. I'm trying to build maximum moisture without building maximum like thickness, if that makes sense. So this actually works really well for that. And I do just go in for 2 layers because it is so thin and quickly absorbed while still being really nourishing and skin protective and comforting. It just feels really good with 2 layers in this type of weather, which has been pretty cold, pretty dry, a little icy, and it's definitely making my skin feel dried out and dehydrated. So what I really love about the Dr. Ceuracle Essence is that there's such a good amount of that fermented tea in there that does so many great things for my skin. It acts as an antioxidant. It has a good polysaccharide content, which helps to hydrate the skin. Tea is a really skin protective. It's great for well aging. And I do find that when I use tea ingredients in skincare, it always makes my complexion really glowy and very healthy because there are so many good like vitamins and minerals and amino acids and all that goodness that really just contributes to skin health. in tea that just makes it a really fantastic ingredient for your skin. And so because that's a really supercharged essence with just the right texture, just the right moisture, and just the right benefits, I actually feel super duper good skipping out on serum this morning. It's really not necessary to have serum every single routine. You know, if that's what you like, go for it. I've been really simplifying things for myself lately, so skipping out on serum and using like a supercharged essence actually saves me a lot of time and some thickness too on my face. So I'm gonna go straight in for eye cream, and lately I've been using the Stratia Lipid Gold Eye Cream. So this is a somewhat newer release from Stratia. It did come out in October, and I have been using it a little bit actually before it was released, and I am loving it. And it's particularly good for the skin concerns that I have right now, which is that my face feels dry, but I don't want to overwhelm it. I feel that's like um, the exact quality that this texture brings to my skin. It is so nourishing. It does just like the original Lipid Gold Serum Lotion Hybrid, which I'll use in a little bit. Just like that product, it is focused on ceramides, cholesterol, and fatty acids to really fortify and strengthen your skin barrier. And I do find that to be pretty helpful for the eye area, especially in these colder temperatures, because that area can dry out a little bit faster for me. That skin's a little bit thinner, a little bit more vulnerable, so it makes sense. And so it's just the right amount of nourishment while also fortifying the skin barrier, which is what helps keep everything moisturized and hydrated, right, and comfortable. But then it also has some brightening ingredients in it. It has some collagen stimulating peptides in it. So it's really kind of covering everything that my concerns are for that eye area, all in one formula with just that right texture to keep everything feeling really moisturized and comforted, but not overwhelmed. And it's going to work really well underneath makeup that we're going to do in a little bit. So next up, I'm going to be using Stratia Lipid Gold, the Serum Lotion Hybrid. And now technically I wasn't using like a serum, but I guess this could be acting like my serum. So maybe I retract my statement a little bit about how I'm not using a serum. This technically can be like that. I guess I kind of treat it more like an emulsion or like a treatment cream in my mind. I always forget that all of the ingredients in here are so good that it basically is a serum, and that's pretty much how I'm using it in my routine today. So I guess I misspoke a little bit. I always forget because some people actually do use this. As you can see, it's a cream texture. Some people do use this as a final moisturizer, which is absolutely great. It's a little bit more lotion-like, so it's a little bit thinner in texture, and that's not going to work for my skin in this environment, but I love to layer it right underneath my moisturizer. And what I do like to do is put in 2, 3 drops of the Fortify facial oil, also from Stratia, because this is my barrier cocktail. And that is, you've seen me do this in every single routine. So sorry if I'm boring you, if you've heard this explanation before, but it is so helpful for the skin barrier. And that is my #1 skin concern in winter. I mean, that is the root cause of the transepidermal water loss and the dehydration, right? I mean, obviously, the environment being dry is what increases transepidermal water loss, but your skin barrier is what helps to resist that. It needs to be strong and healthy and fortified. And this Lipid Gold is all about that. Ceramides, cholesterol, fatty acids, 4% of niacinamide. There's sea buckthorn oil in here, and that's really what contributes that golden color. And then I mix in the Fortify facial oil, which is really focused on the right composition of omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids that's really beneficial to the skin barrier. And I like to mix them together because it actually keeps the layers a little bit lighter. They're extremely emollient. You can see how shiny my skin is, which I love. They're extremely emollient ingredients. And so while they're really offering me maximum moisture, if I layered them separately, the layers themselves just feel a little thicker on my skin. When I mix them together, I'm still getting all the benefits, but it does, just because it's going in one layer instead of on top of each other, it does just seem to sink into my skin a little bit better, feel a little bit more comfortable, but it's still doing exactly the job I needed to do, which is keeping my barrier strong. So let's talk moisturizer, which is a real key product in any skincare routine, but in winter, it is so important to get it right, right? So, you know, one of my favorites, long time, is the Cerave Moisturizing Cream. I absolutely love this, and I really gravitate towards it a lot in any season. Really year round, this tends to just do really well for my skin. And so I really love this cream. But lately, it hasn't been feeling quite nourishing enough. I just had a really tough time transitioning into winter this year. As I said, my skin is combination, but it goes really dry in the winter. And so I need something a little bit more nourishing than CeraVe. And for many years, I have used the La Roche-Posay, the triple repair moisturizing cream. This is from the Lipikar line. I always like, wait, what's the name? Because they changed it like a year or so ago, and it's still taking me a while to get used to this. I've used this for so many years as a body cream. It's face and body type of product. And I occasionally do use it on my face when I'm suffering with the most dryness on my face. And it gives my skin like the exact amount of nourishment that it needs, but for whatever reason, it sometimes can cause like some congestion and whiteheads for me. So I have been using this a lot over the last little bit more than a month. It was a November favorite for me because it has been so helpful as my skin was transitioning into winter. But then lo and behold, I started to get quite a bit of congestion around my nose after a few weeks of using this morning and nighttime. And so what I've actually been doing is I have been using the triple repair cream, which I'll show you. It's quite thick. Look at that. It is so thick and buttery. There's a lot of shea butter in here, which is exactly what makes it so good, but I think is what makes it like so bad for my T-zone. So I've been putting it in my U-zone, especially around the chin. I get a lot of dryness there. So I'm actually just gonna go in for CeraVe. Super safe cream for me. I've used it for so many years. I know how my skin reacts to it. And this just doesn't have that, like, it's just not so rich that it overwhelms this area that has a little bit more oil. And this is not the area that suffers with dehydration for me. It's the cheeks and the chin that do. So I'm okay to do something a little lighter. So let me show you the two different creams just so you kind of get an idea of the differences here. This is CeraVe here, and you can see that it is definitely a cream texture, but it does have a little bit more of a lightness to it in comparison, woo, to the La Roche-Posay cream that you can see is definitely thicker. It's a little stiffer as well, and you can just tell that it has more nourishment, but just the heft in the body of this cream is so much more than CeraVe. I also find that CeraVe has more of like a neutral finish to it, where the La Roche-Posay has a little bit more, you know what I mean, shininess. You can see that emolliency in the cream. So for sunscreen, I'm going to be using the Klairs All Day Airy Sunscreen. This is SPF 50 plus PA plus 4. I'm actually in the middle of testing this product, and so far I am really liking it. It's been a few weeks. I shouldn't say I'm in the middle. I pretty much know that I do enjoy this. It is pretty similar to the original formula. So this was reformulated in the last year or 2 years now. They did, you know, pull it off of the market. They definitely went back in and fixed those filters and everything. But the original, I remember being so impressed with back when I tried it. I don't know if it was 2018 or 2019. It was when I was like a baby on YouTube. But I do have a review of the original formula, and I was really impressed with it because I had never tried anything that was so skincare like, in essence, like for a sunscreen. Obviously, I've tried a lot of other sunscreens since then, and it's not that uncommon. But a few years ago, it really kind of like rocked my world. Trying it again, now that it's been reformulated, I'm kind of remembering why I liked it so much, because it just has this like silky airiness to it. It feels really comfortable on the skin, but it definitely does have a little bit of a shininess to it. Making sure I get my neck. It's not as important because when I go outside, my jacket comes up to here, but I do want to make sure that any little bit that's exposed is going to be protected. So it definitely does have a shininess to it, especially because I do have quite a few emollient layers underneath the sunscreen. All right, makeup time. I'm going to go in for a nice lightweight serum type of foundation. This is the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. And the reason I've been liking this, especially for like every day, when I say every day, I mean like not really like filming, is because this is super duper light. It's just enough to help even out out some of the redness and some of the dark marks that I have on my face. I don't have a ton, but just to kind of give a little bit of evenness to my complexion without overwhelming it or feeling really heavy or feeling like a real like full face of makeup. I really love how this feels, and you can see that it's got a decent amount of coverage, but it has a really nice light texture to it. And the color I have here is Corsica. It's pretty yellow based, but I think it works out pretty good. And this does apply like slightly, I almost want to say like slightly sheer on the skin. So I know it looks really yellow now, but just wait until it gets like all blended and buffed out. So this is the M439 brush from Morphe, and it's really nice for just buffing in the foundation. I really like this brush. It's pretty affordable too. So you see how it still looks like real skin. It does kind of sheer out, but it just evens everything out while still maintaining that kind of glossy sort of look. And again, like I said, part of that is because this does have a little bit more of a dewy finish, the foundation from Ilia, but the layers of skincare underneath are also really contributing to that. So I'm just going to use a tiny bit of concealer because I do have a pimple on my nose that's a little bit red. It's like a Rudolph pimple right here. I don't even know if you can see it all that well, but I'm just going to put a little bit there and a little bit just to kind of brighten up the under eye area. So I'm just going to use another Morphe brush. It's the M554. Trying to like read the little handle here. This is like a good brush for the under eye area. It's good. I like to tap when I use concealer in small areas. It's good for just kind of like tapping and blending it in. But it's great for getting into corners and around the nose and stuff too. All right, so for brows, I'm gonna first go in for some brow gel. This is the Brow Glue from NYX. And I'm just using this to brush my brows up, and then this helps them to stay up. Just kind of giving them a slightly thicker, but also a little bit more polished and manicured kind of look, because they can get a little funky from sleeping and stuff. So while the brow gel dries, it does dry pretty quickly, but it's a little bit wet right now. I'm gonna just go in for some eye primer. This is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I have to prime my eyelids. They, I think it could be the skincare and everything that I layered on, right? But they do just tend to be a tiny bit oily. They do tend to crease eyeshadow very quickly. And so this is like a major step for me to make sure that my eyeshadow doesn't get weird, you know, in the middle of the day. This is the Stay Fixer Pact from WakeMake. It's just translucent powder. It's a Korean brand, and so I realized I forgot to put powder. Even with the glowy look, I definitely do need powder to just kind of help set everything to keep it in place, keep it from caking and sliding around. Definitely helpful, and the glow still pops through. It's a little bit matted down now, but trust me, the glow will break through the powder, but the powder helps everything stay in place. So this is the Naked Mini Sin palette from Urban Decay, and I've been really liking this for just like some nice subtle everyday eyeshadow. I'm gonna first go in for the color Boring. It's this matte, really light brown color, and I'm using another Morphe. This is the 513 big rounded brush here. What I like to do with this is I like to go just a little bit above like the crease of my eye. And this is just like my kind of like go-to technique for eyeshadow. I just like to blend it right above the lid and the crease and kind of put a little shadow there. And lately I've been like extending my eye makeup out a little bit more. So this is the 335 brush from Morphe. This is like a big, like fluffy blending brush. And so I'm just going on that upper edge. I'm not going across all of the color, but just the upper edge closer to the eyebrow and just softening. So then I'm gonna go in for Unlucky. So I'm just putting that Unlucky color just in my lid area. I'm not really extending it out, but I'm just covering my lid. Okay, so eyeshadow is almost complete. I'm gonna go in for some brown eyeliner. This is the Extreme Gelpresso pencil liner from CeeLo, and it's this really nice dark, almost like smudgy brown color that I'm really feeling lately. So what I like to do is I like to use a angled eyeliner brush. This one is from e.l.f. It is another one that is extremely old and probably isn't made anymore. But I like to go right up in the brown eyeliner and really pack this very precise, rather stiff eyeliner brush. And this is definitely a gel kind of eyeliner, so it's a little bit softer. And I'm just going to kind of line under here, just kind of like from the outer corner, kind of slightly off center and out this way. So I just really want to show you, I'm not going all the way under. It's hard for me to show this on camera, but also focus and see what I'm doing. So do you see how I extended it? It's almost like an under, like cat eye sort of a wing. And then I'm taking that same eyeliner and I'm going to kind of do the same thing just on the top lid. So I'm not going to go all the way across the lid. I'm going to kind of start from the middle of my pupil. If I'm looking forward, I'm lining up the eyeshadow right kind of to the middle of the pupil and then outwards. So I'm just going to go in for that same stiff angled eyeliner brush, and it's just going to help me smudge and soften and smooth. So I like this technique because it's not quite as obvious as like a dark liquid liner can be. The brown softens things, and then because it's that softer pencil that's blended out too, you get that nice definition and shape to the eye, but it's just not so bold. And I think that makes it a really nice soft look for every day. So it may feel a little bit extra for every day, but I really like wearing some false eyelashes. I've been having a lot of fun with those over the last year because my lashes refuse to curl. I've tried a lot of stuff, and honestly, it's just kind of a headache for me. It's kind of stressful. They just want to be really straight. They don't hold a curl, they fall, and I tend to have to put a lot of mascara on to get them to really pop. And I just don't want to mess around with that. So I've actually found the false lashes just make it so much easier. I don't have to use as much mascara. I get the look that I want right away. They're not all like super big and glamorous and obvious. There's so many different ones out there. So I'm just going to use some of my favorite ones, which are the 120 natural lashes from Ardell. So I'm just using the dark eyelash glue from Duo, and just going to put some glue on the lash band here. So I'm just grabbing them with some tweezers, lining it up with my lashes. And what I do is I kind of like hover them on top, like parallel to my lashes, and then I push into the lid. And then it's just simply very gently pushing them to the skin while still getting them really close to the lash line. And that takes a little bit of, okay, so there you go. So you can see that they really make the eyes pop. So while the lash glue just like sets, still feels a little bit wet, I am going to clean up the outer corner of the eyeshadow and eye liner. I'm just going back in for the same concealer from NYX. That's that HD concealer. And I'm just putting like a little line kind of underneath the where that kind of wing is. And then I'm going to go in for that Morphe, the 554 brush. And I told you it was really good for corners because it's kind of tapered here. So I'm just moving that concealer up to clean that eyeshadow line up. You see how sharp it's getting now? So it doesn't really matter if you didn't get like a super sharp angle right away. You can clean that right on up with concealer. And then also, it's nice to do that too because you really get that sharp wing that goes up that kind of gives your face a little bit of a lift too. So you can do a little bit of mascara. I do like to do a very light coating. It just really helps my natural lashes blend into the band. So this is from Holika. It is the lash correcting mascara. This is number one, the curling mascara. I really like this because it's not very smudgy. It's not waterproof, so it washes easily, but it's not like really smudgy. And so I just do a little bit just to kind of help keep my lashes blended, and then I'll do some on the lower And then I'm just gonna go in for some cream blush. This is from Say, and the color is Rosy. I've been really into this cream blush. It has a really nice pigment. I think it's pretty flattering for olive skin tone. So I just put like 2 dots because it's, like I said, it's pretty pigmented. And then another Morphe brush. I've been all in on Morphe. This is the 427 blush brush. And so I'm just blending it, and I'm definitely going up because we're kind of following that line from the eyes as well to really sharpen everything up. This is from Kaja. It's the Gloss Shot. I love this stuff. The color that I have is called Honey Drizzle, and it's just the perfect kind of like, it's got your lips but better kind of color. So I hope you enjoyed that. I do get a lot of questions about like skincare and makeup together, so I hope that this video was helpful or maybe just fun and relaxing to hang out with me for a little bit as I get ready. So please hit subscribe if you haven't already. You watched all the way through, especially if you love skincare, because that's what I talk about on my channel. And let me know, what's your must-have morning product? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.